Oh, perfect. Hey, how are you?
Good, good. How was your day today?
Yeah, it's been nice so far, actually. Not too bad. It's been quite relaxing because yeah, the weather because it's been snowing in London. It's
Hmm.
been like really nice environment. Everyone's really enjoyed it, but the snow's gone down now, so it's getting back to normal. So it's really good. What about you?
Well, you start to appreciate it when it's gone. So if you had that moment.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm currently in Amsterdam. It's not as snowy. It's more of a gray matter, but I think you know the drill for
Yeah,
winter. It's really, yeah.
exactly. We know what to expect. It's winter, and I guess like it kind of comes with the season, so it gives it a nice. It's a nice feel. Like no one minds the winter when it's coming up to Christmas time. I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see some for Christmas. Yeah, we have some time.
Yeah, you got some time. You got a couple of weeks. Oh, perfect. I'm so glad you could be here today. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining the GameStation community. It'll be really, really interesting to find out more about RE Water and all the great stuff you guys are doing. So I think we're good to start. Should we just go on and start? Because what we're gonna do is we can record this and anyone that can't join the chat, we'll post it in the Telegram group and you can share it also and then they can rewatch it so it's fine.
Sure, that sounds
Okay.
good.
Perfect. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm joined with Victor Strelitsky. Hope I pronounced that well.
Well, that's a Polish surname, so yeah, a little bit complicating. It's Strelbitsky.
How'd you say it?
Strelbitsky.
Strelitsky. See,
Yeah.
quite close.
Close
That
enough.
was quite
Close enough. Yeah. Thanks for
close
trying.
enough. And he is the COO of RE Water. Okay, so today we're going to be doing an AMA with him. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask him some questions and then we will open up the chat for the community to drop their questions. So they will also raise their hands, they'll do text. Whatever we want to do, we'll pick some questions from them and we'll also take some questions from Twitter because people have been dropping their questions over the last couple of days. So we'll take some Twitter questions also. So you ready to start?
Sure.
Perfect, perfect. Well, it'll be kind of great if we can just learn a bit about you, like how you got into the crypto space, how long you've been in the crypto space, maybe an interesting fact that no one knows about you.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from finance. That's where I got my education, master's degree back in 2011, I guess. But yeah, I've been into development even before that, since my early university years. It's pretty well. When you remind it, it's been like 15 years or so. So that's a surprise for me as well. Yes, and most of our fields that we work in is in social and fintech. That's the kind of sweet spot that we develop projects into. So the team that we work with, we know each other for a really long time, and we've done an amazing projects in our past that we can share. I mean, the last one. That maybe you guys know is called NIMSIS. This is the social network that we've developed back in 2016, 2017. It's a social network based on the time, like minutes of human life as a currency. And yeah, that's a concept that was very well familiar, especially in our part of the world. We've got like top downloaded app in 7 countries and made like 1 million downloads in less than 5 days. So that was a pretty steep growth and virality. But that is a good illustration of types of initiatives that we do, because we're not interested in the utilitarian, very niche projects that people try sometimes to enhance, and that's totally fine. But we're not into that kind of business. We're trying to create new markets on the junction of industries. And as I said, our sweet spot is fintech and social. These are kind of the biggest challenges we feel empowered and blessed to improve, so to say. So in a few words, that's kind of the introduction.
Cool introduction. That the previous project you were talking about that you worked on sounds amazing. So you said it kind of measures real life with human currency, or how does it work with the whole 1 million downloads in 5 minutes? Like what was it offering?
So basically, what it did, since the time of the registration, every minute that you live, it was crediting 1 unit of time to your balance. And you could use that as your, well, first of all, like a social token. Instead of using likes as you do in Facebook or hearts and Instagram, you could use those minutes of your life to appreciate someone's content. And that would be an actual transaction. So unlike limitless signs of appreciation, you would actually spend your minutes of life to make that social interaction. And on top of that, that became a payment material where people could purchase goods and services like coffee, food, or even like clothing with their minutes of life. But that's a whole different story, and I wouldn't like to get too deep into that because today we are talking about ReWater. It's an amazing project that deserves an attention and deep dive into it.
Yeah, definitely. That does sound amazing, though. That sounds like a really, really interesting concept. But yeah, let's back to ReWater. It'll be kind of cool if you talk about the whole team with ReWater, how you guys came together, and why you formed this project.
Yeah, so basically, as I mentioned, we're in this for over 15 years, and we are following and involved in crypto since its early days when you had to spend a lot of your CPU to get anything done, and a lot of platforms and carriers don't exist anymore. But the pain is there. I mean, the further we go with the evolution of the industry, the more pain we feel as users, first of all, and we understand that every year there's thousands of projects popping up, but the complexity and inconvenience of how it's organized as a structure just leaves us with a bunch of coins on our wallets, and we don't know what to do with that. People lost their belief in the industry. They discourage themselves with all the scam and stuff. So obviously, the evolution of any industry, we believe, is through unification and making a universal infrastructure where you can basically operate with any kind of assets. And that's exactly what we believe kind of our strong part is. So we are making this universal place where we can provide utility for all kinds of tokens, regardless of their original chain, and become like a crypto social platform in a true form. So we believe there is no stronger force than kind of creating a narrative in which we are caring about something we share. So talking about ReWater, we are talking about a planet Earth being adapted to an idea of crypto industry. But let's kind of move first things first. So basically, we have created a private chain that supports with bridging all kinds of other chains to participate in, well, gamification and multi-staking in ReWater. So what that means is that if you have any kind of even shitcoin on your MetaMask or whatever, you can bridge that into ReWater chain and use it to stake, to socialize, and to participate in a competitive auctions that would obviously grant you some abilities to earn additional rewards. So in a nutshell, yes, we believe that this is the way, one way or another, reducing complexity and increasing compatibility is the only way to go throughout the years.
Okay, so that's very, very interesting. So you mentioned about bridging your whatever token you have over to ReWater, but how does it work? So when you say any token, do you take absolutely any token, or is there some sort of limitations with certain tokens you'll take and certain tokens you won't take?
Well, of course, it's not an instantaneous process. There is it takes time, but now we have already launched 3 chains, and every day we add 50 to 70 new token names to be supported. And well, this machine is going just every single day. So as long as this token has some tradability and it's listed and it has some community and followers, then it will be supported in rewater. So this is kind of the well, basic common sense. Of course, if the token just was created yesterday and there is like 0 volume of trading, surely, I mean, there is no ability to evaluate it. But if there is market, that means that we will provide you with utility for that particular token.
Wow, okay. So currently, how many tokens are listed there now? So how many tokens could people bridge right about now?
Yeah, so as of today, it's about just 500 tokens, but I mean, it's just the beginning. So we are launching every next blockchain like every month or so. And we are not listed. This is the sweet spot time of the project where it's a right time to participate, and at the same time we already have the functionality launched. So this is not some vague concept. We have been developing it for over 2 years or so. In February it will be 2 years. Yeah, so you can test the project right now. You can see how it looks, how it feels, and you can have your own opinion about it. And the growth of the names supported will just, increase on a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, 500 projects already. That's a lot of projects. When you say you've got 500 projects, are you doing it down the list of like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko? Is it like based on the market cap of the projects you're going to list first, or is there any sort of requirement in that sense?
Well, there's no like specific criteria. Surely, I mean, we have some of our partners involved, but basically it's simply by the volume of communities that are waiting for that token to appear. That's the only criteria now.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Okay, so you kind of touched upon it already, but it'll be kind of interesting to understand what's the mission and vision behind RE Water. Do you compare yourself to anyone that's already on the market, or what is your kind of like unique selling point to the project?
Well, to our knowledge, there is no like direct competition. Of course, all of the ideas are somehow reformed or partially reused and so on and so forth. But what we have compressed, so to say, is we didn't see anything of a sort on the market. And surely, I mean, if you ask about the vision, it's very straightforward and very ambitious at the same time. So our vision that crypto should be accessible for any 12-year-old or 80-year-old. And they don't need to understand what proof of work is. I mean, how the calculations are made, because this just doesn't make any sense from adoption point of view. So surely that's why we want to create this platform that will create the infrastructure for all kinds of assets. And the mission, I mean, the starting functionality that we propose is if you can stake anything, you can use that to socialize in crypto communities, and you can use that in a gamified interaction of competition, because crypto is highly competitive space. We're creating that space for all kinds of projects.
Yeah, crypto definitely is a highly competitive space. Very, very true. When I was on your website, I noticed that some of the staking was like 1,000%. Like, how does that work with the percentage of staking?
So, of course, when we're talking about staking, we don't mean the classical definition of staking. I mean, it's not putting your assets into validation nodes and getting the portion of the fees and so on and so forth. So when we're talking about staking, we're talking about the principle that you place your assets and you get rewards on certain, mechanics. So the mechanics of Rewater is, well, basically the juice, the kind of the brilliance of simplicity of mining or staking, if you wish. And this is based on a narrative of a ecological water cycle principle. And what I'm talking about is how water circles on the planet Earth. So if you, well, you obviously have a lot of brains, so you might need an explanation about that. So the majority of water is stored in the cloud. So this is like a single cloud embracing the planet Earth. So, and you have water drops falling on the form of raindrops on the surface. And from the surface, it evaporates back into the cloud, making a full circle, right? So that's kind of the very general principle of water circulation on planet Earth. So what we did, we have created a digital surface, like you could say it's a metaverse, is a very fancy word of last year. But it's a very kind of simplified version of a virtual landscape where people can possess their digital land plot. And these land plots, we call them tiles. Basically, they are forming well, the metaverse, and people can purchase those NFT tiles, the land plots, and use them to apply their assets inside those tiles. And this will, in turn, create what we call gravity, which determines the force that pulls down the rains from the cloud. So I'm getting into mechanics right now because I need to kind of introduce the mechanics before I start answering the questions about the APYs and percentages and so on, because it's important on how the engine works.
No, so, I'm glad you did, because that was going to lead on to my next question. I was going to ask you how the tiles work, because you talk about the tiles, but yeah, I'm glad that you've kind of jumped into it, so that's great.
Yeah, so it's pretty hard to answer the APY question before getting into what the project is. So yes, and talking about APYs, there is a very strict logic. Of course, we have to kind of make a disclaimer that we have created this business model that supports itself depending on the total value locked on the platform. That means that if there is zero assets bridged into the system, the rain will not fall. Well, I'm just making bold statements just to give you the principle. There is, of course, some specification to that, but just to demonstrate, I will make this bold statement. Like if you put $100 on the platform in staking and stake it to your tile, then we will say that total value locked on the platform is $100. And that means that this amount will define the APY percentage of reward from rains. Yeah, so.
Okay, so it's dependent. Yeah.
And the higher the total value locked on the platform, the more moderate the APYs are through the rainfall. Because of course, when you're having like $100 staked into tiles, you as a system, you can generate rewards for 1,000 APYs if it's $100, right? Because it's not a problem for a business. But when you have $100 million, you surely cannot support that type of rewards. So surely, when we're talking about early stage of launch with the high, like insane APYs, this surely is well, as we're speaking internally, you know, with the professionals in this chat that know how it works, surely this is something that company will pay out of her pockets. So basically, it's her marketing budget, and this is something that we provide our early believers and early backers with as a well, basically gratitude for getting involved into the party. So that's how it works. And surely there is some speed to which the total value lock growth, the more people are involved in the system, the more assets they will bring on the platform. And that will equalize the APY somewhere on the level of 100 to 250% APY, which is still insanely high. But we are able to make that sustainable because of that business logic of the gamified conflict that we didn't touch base on yet. But I'm just highlighting that the key of answering to that question lies in the business model further on.
Yeah, thank you for that breakdown. Yeah, it's really important to understand that because, yeah, that's the question that a lot of people ask. But yeah, thank you for breaking that down. It would be good if you can run us through back to the tiles. I know you're talking about it's used to apply assets. If you can explain to people how the tiles work.
So basically, tiles, as we mentioned, are the kind of the atom, the smallest particle that creates the metaverse of ReWater, the planet Earth. So this is your kind of ticket to being a part of the system as a member and getting all the functionality and getting all the rights that will come from further evolution of the project. So the first thing that the participant of ReWater does is basically colonize the planet. So that's the first phase of the project. We call it the colonization. So when you have in your possession that NFT tile, it comes with certain features. So first and the most obvious feature is it provides you with the ability to stake your assets inside the NFT tile. So you take your whatever, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Dogecoin, whatever, you put it in your tile, and that instantly creates the ability for you to get rewards from automated rains. Rain algorithms does not depend on us. It does not, it's not controlled by anyone, and it has a randomized smart contract that takes place once from 1 to 10 days. So there is a possibility there will be 2 rains in 2 days, or there will be a possibility that there will be just 1 rain in 19 days. So nobody knows how often they will go. But the principle on which they calculate the amount of rewards is very straightforward. So you've mentioned that APY table in the white paper, and it is very descriptive. So you know, like, okay, today is the total value locked of $1,000. It corresponds to this APY in the table. And that means that on average, there is like 73 rains during the year. So I'm perfectly aware what kind of reward I'm getting from the next rain. And with that next rain, you will be able to kind of stake more or understand like how to use the water that you already gained. So you're able to use that water that you gained. But surely, depending on the length of smart contract of your stake, there are different kind of terms to what your staking is looking like. So basically, answering to your question, you have to stop me somewhere because I can talk about this for a long time. So Tile is the first step to opening the functionality of the platform, and it will provide you with features throughout the evolution of the project. So staking is the second phase after the colonization, and after that, we will have the phase which is called alliances and conflicts. As I mentioned, there's gamified mechanics for competition around crypto communities, and tiles will be, again, your land plot that you would be able to unite with other crypto fellow believers, depending on what beliefs you share, to make that additional progress of you unifying your forces in that competitive gamified mechanics. So yes, that's kind of the short version of that.
Okay, that's actually interesting. Yeah, I can see there's a lot of technicalities behind it. That is really, really interesting. So basically, the first step, you need tiles, right? You need tiles to have skin in it. You need tiles. They're essential. So how would, if someone wanted to get involved now, people can purchase tiles already?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so they just simply need to go to the website and it says get tiles, and they can get tiles. It'll be cool. We can kind of like focus on the token, like what would be the utilities behind the token for ReWater?
Yeah, just to compliment on the previous, the world map is divided into countries. So there is already about 11,000 tiles occupied to this date. And of course, people are selecting whatever countries they prefer. And the way the countries are organized is that the water is subtracted from the planet. So you'll see a planet with the countries, but without the water. And that's how you can navigate through the world map to find your preferred country.
So people select the countries that they're most interested in, and that's where the tiles. That's how they'll get their tiles. They have to select the country.
Yeah, you can do that. That's just an. You will see that there's a mini map, and the yellow dots will show you which are already purchased. So you can see which countries are more active in participating in the crypto battlefield, so to say.
Okay, perfect. So it will be kind of interesting to talk about some of the milestones that you guys have achieved already. Like, is there any particular milestones that you're most proud of, or is there anything you're looking forward to that is already on the roadmap that's in the pipeline that you're kind of working on at the moment?
Well, as I mentioned, it's a big engineering initiative. We have been already developing it for over 2 years. And well, it is a very sensitive and very kind of highly responsible job, I want to say, because we're creating this infrastructural project, which is a private chain. And of course, people have to be sure of its reliability and that everything goes smooth. So of course, the first kind of big opening was for us just to create this metaverse. So we created like several layers of technology, and of course it's something completely different from just popping up the project with whatever token name that you have. So first things first, we had to choose the best suitable blockchain for the purpose that we're talking today. And we selected Cosmos blockchain as one that is very well integrated with other inter-blockchain communications, and it has sufficient transactions per second. So we can do over 200 transactions per second, which is sufficient to provide that social, highly dynamic social interactions, because we're talking about well, huge volumes of interactions. We're talking about, I mean, like Twitter-like activity with crypto involved. And that was the first challenge that we have successfully incorporated. Secondly, of course, we had to create this metaverse with the digital land plots, with the NFTs being a kind of picky technology by itself. And then we had to adjust that to incorporate additional features for the gamification purposes and multi-staking purposes. So the release of colonization as it is, it was, of course, a very technically challenging chapter that we have completed early this year. And this is something that we, of course, still always work on improving. And the most recent developments that we have had about a month or so to date is the RAIN algorithm. So the RAIN algorithm is a smart contract, and we have successfully tested it on production. So it's great news for everyone who's waiting for the RAIN, because it's already engineered and tested and ready to roll out. So the only trigger for it to start from now and forever is the listing date. Surely, with the current market conditions, we had to postpone and adapt to the situation. And hopefully, when the clouds reveal, so to get back on the environmental topic, then we will be able to secure that listing date and move forward with our tradability.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the listing date, but of course, with the whole, like you already mentioned, with the markets and stuff, it's hard to predict. And a lot of people have pushed back their listing dates. So that makes complete sense. And at the end of the AMA, we'll drop all your socials so people can follow the project and keep up to date with all the news that you guys have. What I wanted to ask you about is, your partnerships. So what kind of partnerships are you looking to have? Or is there any partnerships that you've already sealed and you kind of are really excited about, it's going to make all the difference to the project?
We have quite beautiful partnerships intact already. I will not share like all of them, but maybe a few which we are really excited to have. Well, firstly, as we are in staking business, you could say that Everstake and Everstake Capital is the partner and the investor of the project. These guys are known for their, well, being top of the game of staking. They're number one by assets management. They manage around 6.5 billion worth of assets in staking. So surely they have huge expertise in history and reputation. So, I mean, it's just redundant to elaborate on this. Talking about security and technical partners, Unicrypt is one of our partners. Yeah, and they really help us with all the well, basically validation. Whoop. I think I lost you, Kathy.
Yeah, sorry, I think my camera went for a second. I'm back. Yeah, you're talking about Unicrypt.
Yeah. So what Unicrypt are great with all the technological expertise, and one of the well, specific things that they help us to solve is obviously vesting and well, making a secure, transparent distribution of tokens, because as you know, Unicrypt is a well, decentralized solution that everyone knows, trusts, and the beauty of it is that you can get your vested tokens on a daily basis, and that helps everyone to control everything that they had purchased on IDOs and early on the project. And of course, I mean, a lot of things further on, they're great in security issues as well. Talking about security as a whole, Hacken Team, I want to highlight them as well. They're known for their auditing business. They have been auditing our smart contracts. I think they're rated number 2 as in auditing business. So these are the guys that we go to when we need their opinion and second thoughts. Obviously, there is no such thing as too much audit for no smart contracts that are holding foreign assets. So surely we double and triple check. They're not the only auditor that we have. I just want to mention them as a highlight of our partnerships. So yeah, I mean, of course, we realize this is a long path, and we need a lot of help and a lot of engagement from the community in all kinds of sectors. And we, as I said, have been working on it for already quite some time. And well, I could not very humbly say that we're quite known in our field. So we are lucky to have those partners, and of course we're interested in growing their list.
Brilliant. Wow, there's some amazing partners though, really, really big names in the game and stuff, that expertise in those sectors. So that's really great that you've really got their support. And I'm sure there'll be loads of partnerships to come, hopefully. So that's great. I was going to say, what we can do now is we can move on to the Twitter questions, because people have been asking their Twitter questions over the last few days. We have so many Twitter questions. I've only selected a few, but after the Twitter questions, what we'll do is we'll let people, we'll open up the chat. People can drop their questions to you, and also they can raise their hands, and we will select some winning questions. As you guys know, there's prizes up for grabs, so get involved. Are you okay to move on to the Twitter questions?
Always.
Perfect. Okay, so the first one is from Richie. Yeah, Richie, I can't pronounce the surname. Okay, so what are the steps taken by your platform to keep the community engaged with your newer ideas? What is your marketing plans, I think they're trying to say? And also, how do you engage with the non-crypto users to keep the platform sustainable in the long run?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is kind of, I would say, a more standard question, so to say. But surely when we're talking about definition of what Rewater is, it's pretty self-explanatory, because we're trying to create a place to host like the entire industry. So when we're talking about like what steps are we taking to engage the community, we have quite a dense roadmap that we are rolling out every month or every 2 months. So everyone who's following Rewater from 2021 knows that we are very heavy on the news, so to say. And surely when we're talking about the growth plans, not so much we focus on the B2C side, but we will focus on a B2B growth, because Rewater is a platform that really helps out projects out there. Single standalone projects could benefit immensely by onboarding their community and having the ability to have those community building tools on Rewater, to have the monetization of their followers, and simply be able to make their token economy more healthy, because you're taking from the total token supply of your project that portion of your token to be staked and hold it. So surely this is a big incentive for them to be onboarded. And surely about talking like non-crypto community, again, the whole narrative of Rewater is created specifically to be very plain and very transparent for any age group and any expertise group. So this is kind of our main focus of how this thing goes on.
You mentioned that you wanted it to be easy for someone that was 12 years old, someone that was 80 years old, or kind of just, so even for non-crypto users, making it as transparent and as easy as possible. So yeah. The next question is from Damaris Josephina, and they said, on your white paper, you say that your mission is that water manages the water ecosystem and inspires to become universally mediator. What are your actions you have taken to achieve your mission? Can this function tell us more about how the water token will help and how it will become and work? Sorry, it's quite a long question.
Yeah. Well, again, the essence of the answer to that question. Oh, I lost you again, Kathy. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that the idea, the concept of how these reigns and rewards are being unlocked lies in the staking of various assets. So when people bring whatever altcoins that they might have and they stake them inside the system, they will be basically paying a daily fee commission to participate in that staking functionality. And in return, they will receive rewards in water tokens. So when you think of it on a large scale, that means that the project creates huge liquidity pools of very, very diverse tokens from all kinds of chains. And in return, we create backing and liquidity for the water token. And that means that it becomes a universal mediator of the value locked on the platform. And obviously, the more projects participate and the higher the volume of participated tokens, the more stable the water token becomes. So it's, in the end of the days, I will not spoil the idea, but water could be a stable coin in the end of the days. So definitely the core concept answers to the question like how or what is meant by being a mediator of the water. Yeah, I hope that addresses the question.
Yeah, it does. And I was going to say, we've opened up the chat so people can drop their questions in the chat. So Victor, feel free to look through the questions, see if there's any questions you like, or people that have asked the questions in the official GameStation chat. And we'll also take people that have their hands raised. We'll mix and match with Twitter as well. We've got a lot of Twitter questions. We've got questions in the chat, and we'll take people with their hands raised. So however you prefer to do it. Yeah, whatever question you like, just pick.
I'm a slow reader. I'm just going to scroll down and point at random one.
Yeah, if you see the one you like, if you can click reply to their name, just so that it's easy to find the winners at the end. Just makes it much easier.
Okay. One is asking. I understand. Well, Meetup Future Lounge. Yeah. Should I read his question, or he's gonna read it himself?
No, you can read out his question. If you can just click reply to his name, so we have his also. Yeah, you can read out his question. We've closed the chat now, so whatever questions are there, you can. Yeah, there wouldn't be more added. So yeah.
Oh, I think I'm blocked from writing in the chat as well, so I cannot reply to this question.
You're blocked.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Sorry about that. Why are you blocked? What question was it that you saw that you liked?
Well, it's just the one before the last one.
Okay. Is it from Maidan Future Lounge?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question. Okay, so I understand that Rewater works on Binance Smart Chain, but do you have plans to expand the boundaries of your game and venture into other ecosystems such as Solana, Polygon, or Ethereum? If it is one of your plans, can you give details about the interoperability you're planning to develop?
Yes, that is a great demonstration that Maiden was not listening to our AMA, and that's why I chose to address this misconception. So first of all, Rewater is created as a separate, standing-alone private blockchain. And surely we do support BSC, we do support Polygon and Ethereum as we speak. Solana is not something that works, but it's definitely in our pipeline. We will add it shortly. Yeah, basically you can, first of all, you can check on Rewater Bridge. If you visit the website, you will see that there is a bridge section on the website, and you can check if your token on these blockchains is already supported. And if not, we will add additional field where you can kind of apply your token and say, okay, I want this token, I want this token. And basically by the community votes, we will be prioritizing those who didn't make it to the final cut yet. But surely, I mean, it's a process. As I mentioned, like 50 to 70 tokens are being added every day.
Perfect. Do you also want to take people that have their hands raised? I can see there's General X, Balloon Face. Should we just pick someone at random?
Yeah, please go.
Okay. Okay, I can see General X have their hand up. Hi, General X. You can ask Victor your question.
Hello. Hi, Kathy. Hello, Victor. Yeah, okay. So that shows that you can hear me. Yeah, really good project. With the future of crypto is actually passive income, and that's why I'm really interested in Rewater. So, hello, I understand you guys are a multi-chain protocol. So I just want to know if we're going to be using the protocol, are we going to be paying gas fees in the parent chain that we're staking from? Like I use it a lot.
So as we are a private chain, we are using Water as an administrative token of the platform. So all of the transactions that takes place on the chain will definitely be feed in Water tokens. Yeah, I hope that addresses your short question.
Thank you so much for your question, General X. We've got, do you want to take another one with the hands raised?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure. Perfect. So we can do Balloon Face. I know you had a question.
Hello?
Hi, Balloon Face. Can you hear us?
Yeah, my question is, I can see that people can get high APY in the first round. Of course, such a high APY will definitely cause inflation. Do you have any mechanism to solve this inflation?
Definitely. So we have, that's a good question, and it is important to understand the nature of the process. Of course, first of all, we have touched a little bit this topic in the beginning of our AMA today. And what we were saying is that the early tiers of the APY spreadsheet that you can see on our white paper are basically a marketing budget of the company. So these are not something that we will support on a regular basis. Of course, this is an incentive for people to join early and stake before the total value locked grows to that higher tier. So the first, well, $500,000 worth of assets would be of great rewards through rains. But the more stable APY rate will range around from 150 to 250 APY percentage per year. But your question is still valid. Like, how can you support that high APY? And surely we have to understand how this circulation of water takes place in the system. So when we move forward to that third phase that I talked about, so first is colonization, then staking and reigns, and the third one are alliances and conflicts. And those conflicts that we mentioned are those gamified mechanics that provides the ability for people to attack tiles of other users. And when you're attempting an attack of another player, you spend your water tokens. And obviously the other player that defends himself, he spends his water tokens to defend. And whoever wins, the attacker or the defender, all of those assets in water will evaporate into the cloud. And that means that those water tokens will be subtracted from total token circulation into the repository of cloud that will again be distributed through next rains among the community. So basically, yes, you got those water tokens from rewards, but you have to take into consideration that you will have to hold a certain amount of water to be prepared to defend yourself, or else you will lose your staked assets. You will have to have enough water to use it to activate your tiles, because each stake that you will apply on the platform will require you to activate it with water tokens, and so on and so forth. So of course, it's a nominal reward. It's a huge reward when we're measuring it in terms of like market staking rates. Like it's not like 4% that you would see in Ethereum, but this is not classic staking principle. This is a highly profitable but risky to an extent that you have to into consideration the risk of the gamified mechanics to being challenged by other players. So of course, that being said, it's still very kind of uncomparable offer on the market, because when we're talking about the majority of tokens that don't have any kind of utility, you will not be able to generate 3% annually on them. And what we're offering is a mechanics that has its risks, but potentially you have great gains. So that's a balance of your strategies. And I will make a little spoiler that alliances is the key to succeed. So the stronger your community is, the more chances you have of thriving and having those high rewards.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that. Do we have enough time to maybe take 2 more questions?
Hey, 2 to go. 2 lucky or girls.
Yeah, 2 lucky people. Do you want to pick anyone random?
I trust your taste.
Thanks. Justin. I'm just going to pick anyone at random. So I can see Thomas had his hand up, and so did... Oh, what did I do? So did Mr. Fablo. So I'm going to take Thomas. Thomas Al-Buzz, you can ask Victor your question. Sorry, Thomas, we can't hear you. Thomas?
We see you're trying to say something, but the sound just doesn't pop up.
Yeah, the sound doesn't. I'm so sorry, Thomas. I'm going to have to move on to someone else. Sorry.
someone else.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I think we can hear you. Sorry, I took you off. 1 second. Yeah, we can hear you now.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
My question is, what is your target audience? Can we earn token using your platform? That's my question.
Did you hear that, Victor?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thomas, yeah, you can ask Victor now. Sorry about that.
I repeat my question.
Yes, please.
Yeah. My question is, what is your target audience? Can we earn token using your platform?
I understood the target audience. So, of course, it's a gradual process. With the project of this scale, it is always about stages. Definitely, when we're talking about the initial phase of the user base growth, we're talking about tech-savvy crypto guys that know the pain, and they have a dozen of names at least at their wallets, and they know how important it is to make your assets work, because you don't want to sell them because you hope that they will regain value, because you saw this bear market and you're in tears and pain, but you're not selling because you're holding to that. And this is, of course, our main kind of value proposition to the market right now. The crypto savvy audience that has a long history of maybe not as successful investments in the past, and they will understand the principle. They will, of course, they have something to compare, and they will make the impression of usefulness of the platform, and that will provide the ground basis for us to get that exposure further on the auditory that may not be as involved, or they just starting with crypto, or further on with communities that are not aware of what it is. We will surely take into consideration the building academy for the people that are, missed their Bitcoin, but they're looking for another one. And definitely the narrative of Rewater is designed in that way that it's very simple to communicate. It has all the values in place. It has the social mission in place. So surely that will be a third phase of growth. So as I mentioned, the crypto tech savvy guys, then like the beginners of the crypto community, and then only then we will be able to communicate through non-crypto audiences.
Brilliant. We've got enough time for one more question. Who will be the lucky person? It's a hard one. Okay, whoever we pick for this question, this has got to be a really good question, okay? Because you're the last question of the day. Who should we pick? I think did Mr. Fablo have his hand out first, or was it Grams? It's a hard one. Who should we pick, Victor?
Let's flip a coin. You have a coin?
No, see, I haven't got a coin. Okay, I'm going to be completely fair.
Right.
Mr. Fablo, I saw his hand up first, so let's just go with him. Anything else that's not answered, we're going to drop Rewater socials at the end of this, so you can jump into their chat, you can ask some questions, and you can follow their announcements for any sort of updates. Okay, Mr. Fablo, you can ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my question: how does project increase the token value, liquidity, and utility, so that I can lead to an increase in the token prices? What is your plan to make your project stable and profit the highest return for investor in the long term?
Could you rephrase your question, please? I'm not quite sure that I understand you correct.
And the repeat question, sir?
Could you rephrase, please, because I'm not sure I understand you correct.
Okay. My question, how does project increase the token value, liquidity, and utility so that I can let to earn increase in the token prices? What is your plan to make your project stable and provide the highest return for investor in the long term?
Okay, yeah. So basically, if I understand you correct, like what makes me, meaning you, certain as an investor to invest in ReWater? That's what I hear when you ask this question. Certainly, again, when we're talking about the growth of the price of the token, that's, as I understand your question, is how will it grow? So definitely the huge part of the equation is demand. And when we're talking about demand, there is two parts of demand. The demand of your inner audience that you already possess, and the demand of the people that onboard to the project. And these are kind of two compounds we have to elaborate to address your question. Well, and surely the business model itself to provide that liquidity to make it work. So surely when we're talking about the demand of an existing audience, we're talking about constantly growing need for water. And that means, and that drives from the functionality that we have. So again, with more stakes coming on the platform, you will have to have more water to activate those stakes. With the competition having those attacks and demands on tiles, they decrease the circulation of water, creating that scarcity. So as I mentioned, all of those water tokens will evaporate back into the cloud. And every next conflict will decrease the amount of water that is available for the users to share inside the platform. So that's number one, kind of how do we drive that demand inside the existing circulation? Because some people say, okay, this is like rewards, airdrops, it will inflate the volume of circulation. But when you look closer and when you multiply it by time going on, you will see that actually it's a scarcity model, not abundance model. So obviously the answer to the second part with the new projects and new people coming in is pretty easy, because again, we have created something that is of huge value to separate standing alone projects. So we are onboarding exponentially. So we're not targeting B2C, like, come on, welcome to our platform, and we have 10 more users today. Like, we're not targeting B2C, we're targeting B2B, and B2B will onboard all of their community. So if you onboard a project, you onboard all of his followers. And that is understandable because it makes sense in so many ways, in organizational way, in a business model way, in communication way. So those are kind of a wide blue ocean that we are definitely very well targeting with our value proposition. And surely the non-crypto community is always there. Everyone's trying to reach it, and everyone's talking about it. But of course, we believe that the narrative is the key to addressing that audience. So if you have a very clear concept, very clear story to tell, very plain rules of how you can gain your rewards, so to say, and without getting into complexity of the graphic cards and proof of work, that is the key. So we believe we have created something beautiful. We have basically addressed the very shared thing that we can relate to. It's the planet that we live on, and we do contribute to social mission of the water flow problem in the ocean and drinking problem of water on the earth. So that, in our belief, is a very strong driving force for us, well, to feel that we are doing something meaningful, first of all, and surely that in the end of the days will make a good business for you as an investor of the project. And the liquidity is like self-evident. You mentioned liquidity, and we have already touched that base. that water becomes a representative of all of those projects that get involved on the platform. So the more projects get involved in the platform, this will create a very, very diverse pool of backing up that material liquidity behind water token for all the years. I mean, whichever time of development you will see water on the market, whatever valuation it will stand, it will have a solid liquidity behind those numbers. So that's kind of the three compounds to answer your question. Yes.
Brilliant. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's been great speaking to you today. Honestly, I can't believe how quick the time's gone. But thank you so much for being here. So nice. Do you have any final words for the game
Thank you
station
for your
community?
answer, sir. And thank you,
Oh,
Crypto Coffee.
oh, you're welcome. Glad your question got answered. Do you have any final words, Victor, for the game station community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just well, spreading the word. All are invited, guys. As I mentioned, we're talking here not as you know, marketing language, but as with our inner community, as people who understand the market. So we're sharing kind of the inner backdoor details of how this roll, and I hope that you are curious to see how it works, because we're all here to do meaningful stuff and evolve where we all going. So I welcome you to be the first backers of the ReWater. As you know already, we are kind of making that experience for you as good as it gets for all of the coming followers. So yeah, welcome you to the website. Check out the interface. Have added the tiles, as now they're about $30 or so. So that's pretty low end, because their price end on the 1024 later in the time period of their sale. So now is a pretty good time to jump at it. And yeah, if you have any questions, please drop by to our Telegram chats, and we're always attentive there. We reply to messages in your initiatives, and we'll be glad to see you there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being here once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like we know so much more about ReWater, which is great. Guys, like he said, what we'll do is we'll drop your socials at the end, jump into their socials, find out more about the project, go on the website, speak to the team. They have announcements and Telegram, so definitely follow them on their socials and stay up to date with everything they've got going on. And thank you so much for being here once again. And thank you guys for jumping on. It's been nice having you. So yeah, wishing you a great day. Enjoy Amsterdam. All right, take care. See you later. Bye.